Welcome, class. Today we are going to focus on reviewing a little bit about fractions before we dive into section 4. Now, in section 4, we're going to be talking about adding and subtracting these rational expressions. So again, we're going to take a day to review how do we do it with normal fractions first. Now, as hopefully you recall, in order to add and subtract fractions, you need like denominators. What I mean by that is these 11s have to be the same. The bottoms have to be the same. So you have two 11s and you're adding three 11s. Now, when you're adding and subtracting, first thing to remember, the bottom stays the same. That's why they have to actually be the same value because the bottom isn't changing. You're starting with two of them, you're adding three of them, so we're going to get five of them. So again, you do the operation to the top, however, the denominator doesn't change. It stays the same. Same thing with subtraction. 8 over 9 minus 2 over 9, well, that bottom stays the same, so I know I'm getting 9 down there. 8 minus 2 leaves me with 6. Now, important thing too, after you do the addition or subtraction, realize 9 and 6, that can actually reduce. 6 is 2 times 3, 9 is 3 times 3. So notice you can actually reduce your answer, and that is going to be part of this process. So don't just leave it as 6 over 9. If possible, I do want you reducing these. All right, little bit trickier problem now. So looking at these, now we're moving into things that don't have like denominators. Okay, so now we need to see, well, what do we do? So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the 16 and the 6. So 16, if you look at that, 16 is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. And 6 is 2 times 3. Now, you may be wondering, where did that 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 come from? Well, remember, when you're breaking this down, 4 and 4, 2 and 2, 2 and 2. So I look at the two denominators and I break them up. Now the reason I'm doing this is because I need to see what is each denominator missing. So what I mean by that is, what does the 6 have that the 16 doesn't? Well, the answer is you need a 3 there. What does the 16 have that the 6 doesn't? Well, it has 3 additional 2's that the 6 does not have. Now, why am I looking at it this way? Well, I'm looking at it this way because now I need to multiply each fraction by what it's missing. So that 7/16 is missing a 3. So I'm going to multiply it. Oh, I apologize. That should be 7/16. So I'm going to multiply it by what it's missing. Same thing with the 6. The 6 was missing 2 times 2 times 2. So it was missing 8 over 8. All right. So now I have that. So now I have to start looking to see what am I getting. So that first fraction, 3 times 7 is 21. 3 times 16 is 48. Second fraction, 8 times 1 is 8. Then 6 times 48, or 6 times 8 is 48. And now, look at why I've done this. notice now I have a common denominator. Okay, now I have something that I can actually finish solving, because with that common denominator, now I can actually do my adding. So that's going to be our process here. So for number 8, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at each denominator because they are different. 5 is just 5. 6 is 2 times 3. So I'm going to look to see what is each missing that the other one has. Well, the 5 is missing 2 times 3 that the 6 has. And what is the 6 missing? Well, the 6 is missing the 5. So again, to me, it's easiest to think of it in those terms, because now I look at my 5/6. So I look to see, what did I say that 6 was missing? Well, the 6 was missing a 5. So I multiply top and bottom by 5/5. I look at the 5 and I ask, what was it missing? Well, it was missing a 2 and a 3. So it was missing a 6. So I multiply it by 6/6. So now I'm going to go to try to simplify this. So look at the first one. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 6 is 30. 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 5 is 30. So I look to see, what do I have now? Well, 25 plus 12 is 37. And then on the bottom, it doesn't change. All right. So again, this is going to be our process throughout these problems. So looking at 10, I look at my 6. And I'm trying to look at my two denominators to see what makes them up. 6 is made up of 2 and 3. 10 is made up of 2 and 5. So I need to look to see what is each one missing. So the 6 is missing a 5, and the 10 is missing a 3. So to get these to have a common denominator, I'm now going to multiply by those. So I'm going to take the 7/6, and we said it was missing a 5. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to multiply it by 5/5. We said the 10 was missing a 3. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to multiply that by 3/3. So now that I've done those alterations, now I should have something with the same denominator. So look at the first fraction. 5 times 7 is 35. 5 times 6 is 30. And I'm subtracting off. 3 times 7 is 21. 3 times 10 is 30. So 35 minus 21, that's going to leave me a 14. And then the bottom doesn't change. Now this time, notice, look, what we're left with actually you can end up reducing. Both are divisible by 2, so you can actually end up reducing it to 7/15. All right, moving right along to our next one. So 20 and 8. So looking at what make those up. Again, if it helps you to make a little tree diagram to sketch it out. So 20 is 10 and 2. 10 is 5 and 2. So 20 is 2 times 2 times 5. And then looking at 8. Well, 8 breaks up into 2 and 4. Then the 4 breaks up into 2 and 2. So 8 is 2 times 2 times 2. And now we need to see what is each missing. Well, the 20 is missing a 2 that the 8 has, and the 8 is missing a 5 that the 20 has. So we said the 20 is missing a 2. So that's what I'm going to multiply the top and bottom by of my first fraction. My second fraction, we said the 8 is missing a 5. So we're going to multiply top and bottom by 5. Need to erase this so I have some more space to keep working. So the first fraction turns into 22 over 40. The second fraction turns into 15 over 40. Now again, when we actually do our subtraction, 22 minus 15, well, that's going to leave us with 7. Now remember, the denominator ends up not changing. Moving right along to our next example. Again, let's look at 6 and 10. Well, 6 is 2 times 3. 10 is 2 times 5. So it looks like the 6 is missing a 5, and the 10 is missing a 3. So that's what we're going to have to multiply by in order to take care of these denominators. So the 6 we said is missing a 5, so I'm going to multiply by 5 over 5. And we said the 10 is missing a 3, so I'm going to multiply that by 3 over 3. All right, so for the first fraction, I get 25 over 30. For the second one, I get 3 over 30. Adding those together, that is 28 over 30. Now notice both of those are even numbers. So that means I can reduce this. I can divide both top and bottom by 2. So the reduced form that I'm actually looking for is going to be 14 over 15. All right, last one. We're going to look at 12 and 8. Now the 8 you can still see over here on the side. 8 we said is 2 times 2 times 2. Now if you need a little refresher on 12, 12 breaks down into 4 and 3, and 4 is 2 and 2. So 12 is 2 times 2 times 3. So if we're looking at what is each one missing, well, the 12 is missing a 2 that the 8 has, and the 8 is missing a 3 that the 12 has. So to rewrite these, we said the 12 is missing a 2, so that's what we're going to multiply top and bottom by. We said the 8 is missing a 3, so I'm going to multiply the top and bottom by that 3. So the first fraction, I get 10 over 24. Second one, I get 9 over 24, not 29. So now I actually do the subtraction. 10 minus 9 is 1. And then I have the 24 because the bottom doesn't change. All right, so I thank you for joining me for these problems. So please make sure you have all this written out, and then make sure you come to class prepared to begin our practice work.